Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the Game on and okay. Welcome to the Game on and Beyond podcast. I just had an epic misspeak, okay? And we don't even care about that because this is episode 7, the holy number.
The holy number.
We had the devil's number last week, and maybe that's why it only got 8 views.
Is 9?
I don't know. I just kind of made up the whole holy and devil's number.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think 666 for like the devil, and 7 always seems like a angelic number or something like
Is
that.
that like more like for like slot machines and stuff? Or is like you get triple sevens?
777 jackpot. Maybe, I don't know. I don't gamble. I don't gamble because I'm not a psychopath.
It's probably the best.
Just kidding.
Probably the best.
If I feel like I'd have the type of personality where if I really got into gambling, it could be a bad thing. So
Right.
I just don't mess with it.
I wouldn't blame you. I don't either.
I like to make money in normal ways, like Inzoy did
What?
this last week.
No way.
Yeah, so we're going to bring you guys the news. We're going to get started with some news here, but I guess I should go back a tick because I kind of gave us like a cold open. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man.
Doing well?
Just hanging out, took a little nap before I came.
Okay, naps are great.
Which is real great. Rejuvenated my mind.
I love that.
Also, just wanted to say, we said about this last week, but we're talking about that RoboCop game.
Yeah.
Dude, I played like 5 hours of it.
Okay. What do you think?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
It is a beautiful game.
Okay.
I feel like if I watch the movies, there is a lot of the resources from the movies are definitely
Like
in
Easter egg
games.
type stuff?
Yeah,
Love
and,
it.
and just like the way that like RoboCop moves and stuff, he moves like a tank, right?
Yeah,
Kinda.
his movement. That was one thing I always kind of didn't like about RoboCop is he's like, I'm RoboCop,
Yeah.
In the new RoboCop reboot, because they did a reboot movie.
Okay.
It was pretty old. It's still pretty old. Not as old as the original. RoboCop was way more like agile, and he could like jump and like do cool stuff.
Oh, cool.
But
Okay.
but the original's still much better. But
Sure. So he has that movement and whatnot, and the fighting is really cool because like if you punch someone, like literally it's like a big like blood splatter, like crazy stuff where they're like flying like 20 feet. Like,
Do you have like? Is there like a knife thing that comes out of his hand?
No.
That you can stab people with.
I don't
Oh,
think
really?
so. Yeah.
Okay.
I now, granted, I only played like 5 hours
Okay.
of it. So, and my PlayStation says it's about 16% of the game.
Okay. So it's actually it's a pretty hefty little game.
I think main story is supposed to be about 11 hours, but
Okay.
if you do like side quests and stuff, then it'll be around like 20 to 30 hours worth of gameplay.
That's pretty nice.
Very cool. Very fun to like, pull out the pistol and like shoot people in the dick and whatnot. It's pretty cool. You actually get a trophy for shooting someone in the dick, like in the movie.
Yeah, he shoots a rapist in the dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. The only thing that I have a problem with the game is that it kind of gets boring.
Okay.
I
Is it
feel
just the same kind of mission repetition kind of thing?
pretty much like even when I was like going through these like battles and like fighting like thugs and stuff like that and like mowing them down,
Yeah.
I just kind of felt like it was kind of the same old.
Do you feel too OP?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Now, granted, I was playing on easy mode, so like, yeah, but at the same time, I guess like I don't know, it was kind of boring to me, and it didn't make me really want to
Jump
finish
back
the
in.
game.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I will say for anybody who is a RoboCop fan, it's your game
Okay.
because it is definitely, it exudes the lore,
Yeah.
and it also like it's really cool. Like even like some of the side missions, like you actually help people in the police like center or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
You're in like Detroit, New Detroit, or
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I need to go back and watch the movie again.
but I recommend like giving it a try.
Okay.
It's free on PlayStation Plus, obviously.
Excellent.
So yeah.
I haven't played it yet, but I did download the Digimon Adventure Cyber Sleuth
Oh, okay, cool.
thing. I probably will play that because it looks pretty cool.
Cool.
Looks pretty expansive. I've been playing a lot of Helldivers. I hate repurchasing games, but I have it on my PC. But I've been playing it on my PS5.
Nice.
Helldivers is pretty fun and it runs really well on the PS5. I was kind of surprised by that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having a blast.
Good.
Still grinding Destiny.
Nice.
I think. What was the next thing I was going to pick up? I was debating getting Elden Ring.
Oh, okay.
Because I kind of want to start getting an idea for what Night Rain will be like, even though it's kind of different, in terms of unlimited sprint and all that and no fall damage. But I kind of want to just get the feel for like the boss battles and the difficulty of the game potentially. But I'm really hyped for Night Rain, so I'm fully getting ready to like buy that on day one.
Cool. Yeah, usually Elden Ring is now on sale a lot. So
Yeah, it's on sale right now. There's a not big, but there's a spring sale going on PlayStation. So, get a couple games up to 75% off. We're not sponsored. Check it out. Yeah, there's some decent sales.
cool.
But I digress. Why don't we hop into the news?
Let's do it.
Awesome. We prefaced our first bit of news earlier by talking about profit and making money.
Money's good.
And publisher and developer Krafton has announced that Inzoi, the Sims killer that they're kind of talking about, it like realistic Sims, you generate your little character and you just like do stuff to them, has sold 1 million copies in a week. So its first week,
It's pretty good.
1 million copies.
Very good.
We talked a couple weeks ago about Assassin's Creed Shadows and how they were bragging that there was like 1 million or 2 million people that played the game in the first week. This sold 1 million copies. So I don't know if that correlates. They didn't brag about selling 1 million copies of the game. They just bragged that over 1 million people had played the game so far. So do you think that's the same thing?
Ooh.
Probably not, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I would assume it would have sold millions of copies at least, right? You think? Like, because
I'd have to double check, but here's the thing. I feel like Ubisoft needed a big like monetary victory with Assassin's Creed. And I feel like if they would have gotten that, they would have talked about it. They would have put that out there.
Most definitely.
So that kind of begs the question, there's 1 million people playing the game. Is that 1 million copies sold? Or is it the same thing? Or what's more successful? In my mind, if they're specifically calling out selling 1 million copies, I think that's kind of probably a bigger deal than just a couple million people playing the game. Because wasn't that game on Game Pass also?
That I'm not exactly sure about.
Okay. I'd have to double check because it may not be.
I don't think it was.
Okay. So that's definitely an interesting thing. There was initially an early access kind of hiccup, some unintended bugs that they were able to fix within the first week. It has a very positive user review on Steam, and it had a peak of 175,000 concurrent viewers on Twitch. So lots of people really interested in the game, in playing it and watching it. It says it saw over 1.2 million participants on a launch day. So this was more like creative content using Inzoi. So there's just a lot of interest in the game, a lot of interest in watching the game. Sims is great, but I think people are hungering for that kind of game, but maybe something a little different to kind of shake up that formula.
Yeah.
And it looks like Inzoi is doing it.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it could be a Sims killer just yet.
Yeah.
But it's definitely shaping up to be a really good competitor towards it.
No, I agree.
1 million units sold.
It's a lot of freaking money.
Is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And at $40, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
For an indie. I don't know if Krafton is a indie studio or not necessarily. But still, published by the South Korean Megacorp. Okay, so maybe they are like a AAA more than anything.
Megacorp may have tipped us off a little bit.
For sure.
But no,
good for them.
It's a cool milestone. It's I think we use terms like Sims killer. People are always like, what's the next Halo killer? Way back in the day when shooters were coming out every other week. In my mind, sometimes why does there doesn't always have to be a killer.
Nope.
Like you mentioned, competition is really good for game developers, and it's because it helps you have a bar to reach for. If there's a new feature added, people want to put that feature in their game if it's successful. I think it also helps the consumer. So when there's games that are just trying to make their game better because of that competition from their rival, it's only going to give us more to eat, if you will. So I think that's pretty cool. Competition is always good. There's a pretty big pie out there for people playing games. You don't always have to have the whole pie. You can share it. You know? So I think it's people who are into those realistic sim style games, they're eating good.
Yeah, they are definitely eating good, and especially with Inzoi is the one thing about it is that it's just going to keep on getting better too.
Yeah,
because there's going to be free updates.
It's early access, so that's a pretty big that's a big deal to even have a positive Steam review in the first week.
Yeah,
so
absolutely,
I'm really excited about that. I think Jared Hess and I think it was WB Studios that did the Minecraft movie are also super freaking excited because, as it turns out, on the Minecraft movie's opening weekend, they grossed $163 million. So not to do any competition, because we all love the Barbie movie, I guess. I don't know, it was all right. This in 2023, Barbie kicked its opening weekend off with 162 million, and that movie went on to gross $1 billion. So this could very well be on its way to be a $1 billion winner. It is Warner Brothers created, so they needed some wins both in their gaming sector and in their movies. And I think it's good. Jared Hess, the director of this was the guy who directed Napoleon Dynamite.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, one of my favorites.
I know. I was gonna say, I love that
awesome.
stuff.
That's cool.
So he's expressed interest, obviously, in doing a sequel. I'm sure Warner Brothers is now seeing dollar signs, so they're gonna be like, fast track it. Have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
Have
I
you?
did.
How was it?
I actually did. So this might be kind of controversial because a lot of people are just shitting all over this thing. I kind of enjoyed it. I don't know if I'd go back to like see it if my kids weren't around, and it's not a movie maybe I'd want to watch every other weekend, but it was entertaining. I know just enough about Minecraft to kind of understand the lore, I guess, and what they were showing, all the Easter eggs. I think the way they portrayed the world of Minecraft was very beautiful and very interesting. And I think they did the game justice in terms of like the mechanics and building and the weapons and just everything that they put on display. The human characters are always hit or miss. The acting was all right. Jack Black was like way over the top, but I find him weirdly funny. So him and Jason Momoa were both doing these just over the top characters. And I feel like they were just in this competition for who could just be more insane than the other. And they have a great chemistry. So if anything, I would love to see them do more movies together. If it's not Minecraft, do more movies together because they had really good chemistry.
Okay.
And I think if they weren't in this movie, it probably would have just, the human character side of it would have been hyper boring. So there's, the story was here and there, but I think it really did what it set out to do, just to bring the world to life and to make a lot of money. So 163 million is huge for movies nowadays because the movie industry is struggling a lot like the game industry is in some facets. Yeah. So having a big opening weekend like this is huge. This is bigger than Barbie. I think it's bigger than Mario Brother movies opening weekend as well, which went on to gross $1 billion.
Yeah.
So this could be a huge win for Warner Brothers. Maybe a huge win for gaming in a way because it draws eyes to Minecraft, which could draw their eyes to other games. So when video game movies, win at the box office, again, it creates more competition. It tells people, hey, let's try to find more properties to develop and hopefully develop them in a good way. And, good for them. Good for them. Warner Brothers need a win.
Yeah, good for them. That's exciting. And it's I didn't know about the Barbie, them outbeating Barbie in this first week, which was really dope.
So the initial projection I think was $157 million, but according to this article there was an update to that. Yeah. So because of the updated gross, that's how it beat Barbie on the opening weekend.
Nice. Yeah. Cool.
Because they grossed 162. So
I wonder how it compared to the Sonic movie, Sonic 3.
Okay, I've never seen Sonic 3, but the Sonic movies are better than Minecraft from a movie perspective.
Sure. Yeah. I saw Sonic 3.
Was it good? Was it cool?
Oh, it was amazing.
Okay. I've seen the first two.
Yeah, I saw Sonic 2 and then I saw 3 in theaters. And shout outs to Shadow. Like if Shadow wasn't in that, obviously it wouldn't be that great.
Yeah, I've seen. Okay, so see, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 opened with 60 million on its first weekend.
Oh wow!
So again, it's not bad. That's still really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a massive hit.
Yeah, and with Minecraft, everybody knows Minecraft.
Yeah.
It seems it's just like Pokemon. It's just like the Mario Brothers.
It's that
movie.
Cultural thing.
Yeah.
The movie theater had a lot of different types of people. There were kids and families and kids. There was like teenagers. There was like kids that looked like they were in middle school. There was full-blown adults without kids. So Minecraft has really reached different generations. And, it was interesting to see that group of eclectic people kind of come together to enjoy something. So I thought it was all right. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Which sounds maybe bad, but I think it's a 5 is like average, and average is pretty good. So
yeah,
they're definitely going to get a sequel. We'll see what they change or what they keep, but I think they need to definitely keep Jack Black and Momoa because they were hilarious.
That's good. That's good that they had good chemistry too, because that's what I heard as well.
Yeah.
That they had really good chemistry.
They're just, you wouldn't think Momoa is as funny as he is, but he did one of the newer Fast and the Furious movies, I think the newest one, where he plays the villain, and that movie was so stupid, but he was hilarious in that as the villain. Like, he was a psycho, and he was so funny. Like, he was just funny. So I'm not gonna say like, yo, I can't wait for Minecraft 2, but my kids will want to see it. Maybe I'll go see it. It'll be a good time.
Cool.
So
that's good.
All right, we got that out of the way. Let's talk the meat and potatoes of today's show.
The big news.
The big news. So last week we talked about Nintendo Direct 1, which covered Switch 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it covered various games that would be coming out on the console. It ended, or talked about Metroid Prime Beyond, which I was like, no, which is going to be on Switch 1. This last week, which is the week after when we talked about it, Nintendo had another Direct. But this one was all about the Nintendo Switch 2. So do you want to talk a little bit about maybe, let's kind of go according to the article, the breakdown, how they have it.
Yeah.
We can maybe start with price and some of the release date stuff, and then go into some of the games and all that stuff. Pricing is definitely a big controversy, especially with I don't want to pretend I know everything about tariffs, but especially with some of the threats of all these tariffs and trade war stuff going on with the United States and Japan and pretty much every other country in the world.
Yeah.
So these prices are kind of up in the air right now. And we could see some hikes in those prices. So
yeah,
I'll let you lead a little bit, and then we'll chat it up.
Cool. So Switch 2, we got a price and a release date confirmed.
Excellent. What's that price?
So that price, just the console itself, is going to be $449.99. While there's also a package for $49.99 that comes with a digital copy of Mario Kart World.
Yes.
And pre-orders won't be happening.
Yes, pre-orders will not be happening, and we'll come back to that. So there is a release date, and there was a pre-order date.
Yes.
But again, because of all these tariffs, I think Nintendo's freaking out a little bit, and they decided to hold off on pre-orders for the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Because the price might change and might go up. But
yep,
we did get a reveal of the new Mario Kart game.
Mm-hmm.
What is this one? Mario Kart World. Okay, love it. What are some changes? What are some of the changes coming to this versus what I'm playing right now on my Switch 1?
So 24 player races, which is freaking
That's big.
Nutty.
Is that what was it before? I feel
I think
like
it was like 12.
Was it 12?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is like online, or can I play like in person with like 12 people hooked up to my Switch?
That I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure you could do something like that.
Sure.
But
we got 24 racers.
Yeah, so there's 24 racers. There's a ton of new like characters, such as you can play you can play as the cow.
I was gonna say, was there a cow I saw driving a cart? Oh,
from Moo Moo, Meadows. There's just a bunch of like different kind of enemies that I think you can play as like a Goomba and stuff like that too, which is kind of cool.
I love it. I correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they say something about how you'd be like racing to the race?
Yes.
There'd be like a pre-mini game type thing where you can race your friends to get to the race point if you want, or something like that.
So from what I kind of see it as, it's kind of like it's either going to be pseudo or full like open world.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can actually like go off the track and like hang out with like you can meet up with your friends and stuff like that at like different areas of the map itself.
Okay, so it's like an open world mode.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so you like there's going to be the tracks themselves, but then you can kind of go off the tracks.
Okay.
And like
have a more social experience.
That, and there's like secrets that you can get, like there's secret like tunnels and stuff that will probably unlock
secret
stuff.
Tunnel.
So
okay, sorry. Go ahead.
so that would be really cool. Yeah, it's kind of like the first like open world type of like Mario Kart.
That's kind of how they're pitching it.
Which is nice.
That is definitely an interesting experience. One thing that accompanies this, talking about the social aspect, is definitely that game chat feature that they showed off, I think, during the Mario Kart specifically. It's obviously going to come into play in other games, but there's this new camera accessory, and then the ability to kind of almost Discord-like video chatting.
Yeah.
Where you can stream your games and chat with your friends. It was kind of weird. Here's one thing. Let me get on a side tangent about that. During the video, they showed, different perspectives of people streaming and watching, and some of it looked really shitty. The resolution looked really bad.
Yes.
And I was like, why are they showing this? They need to not show this part because it looks bad.
It was kind of disorienting, kind of seeing that, because when you're trying to present something,
You want
it to look pretty great.
Yeah.
60 frames at least.
Seriously. And they showed the graphics and the frame rate across a couple of those games, but when they showed off that game chat and the little windows,
dude,
yeah.
And dude, this is what is making me feel like that while Nintendo is still like full blown into this like online thing, they still haven't gotten it kind of figured out a little bit.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Because with that camera, the camera looks really nice, and it looks like it's going to be like an HD type of camera.
Yeah.
But man, when it was like they had like really bad internet or something.
That's what I'm saying. Or they're just like, yeah. And so I'm kind of like, okay, it makes sense when you're streaming something, the resolution's not going to be as good, but like they should have talked about, and there's different options for increasing your resolution for people. Or I think they talked about actually you can add in different cameras to the Switch. You don't have to use their proprietary one.
Ooh, that I don't know.
I might have misread that, but I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that you will also be able to use third-party cameras, like a Logitech camera. I think I could like plug our Logitech camera into that. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's a feature. There's a built-in microphone to the Switch, so they were pitching like being able to talk from like halfway across the room while like blenders are going on. So
yeah,
I found that to be kind of interesting here.
That was really cool.
So the big focus initially is on the social aspect of how you play and how they're going to be using this new Nintendo online service that they're revamping to be able to use the camera and voice chat to really connect you more with people you're playing with or with your friends when you're playing together. Because they mentioned even for one camera could work for 4 people in the same room.
Yes.
Which I thought was kind of cool. That's an interesting little piece of technology there.
And the camera also, I think it follows you too.
Really?
So if you move a little bit.
No way.
I'm pretty sure they showed off a little bit of like somebody moving and then the camera moving like with.
So it like detected their head?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's got some nice like facial capturing in it too.
Okay. I love it. They talked about a little bit local play via the game sharing, which I think we had lightly talked about that game sharing feature the week before.
That was with the carts, the games. Now it's like, okay, you can actually like buy a game. Like for example, they use an example of, what was it, 51 classic games or something, which is a really great game, or a really great game in itself. But yeah, you can like basically, if you have 4 people with you, or like if you have 3 other people with you, essentially you can just make it so that you can share the game with them and then they can play.
That is
awesome.
They
don't have to have it.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is it works across their console generation. So it works on the Switch 1 for most of those games, and it shows the what's the one without the Joy-Con taking
Switch Lite.
The Switch Lite. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That's pretty nice.
No, it's awesome. I was really excited when I saw that.
We got the Nintendo Switch 2 welcome tour. So if you're a big old dummy and you want to like figure out how to use your Switch, you can pay $10 to get it to get an instruction manual for your Switch.
Dude, let me tell you about something, man. PlayStation did so well with Astrobot, right?
Dude, yes, I played that at the playground.
Yeah.
Yes, they show you how to use the controller.
Boom.
They teach you how to use the DualSense with that
Perfect.
thing. Seriously.
Perfect opportunity. Perfect.
And it was like a
software
whole
to work.
game. That was like a 40-hour game, I feel like.
And now you're charging $10 for a new hardware just so that these people, like, you can learn
Just so
how to
you can
use
see
it?
that one guy like shrink himself down and like walk around. So I forgot his name, but it was one of the developers. He was like, "Look, he's inside the game, showing you how to use it," and he literally is like inside the game. So from a gimmick standpoint, I mean that's cool, but why? We'll bitch more about Nintendo's greed. When we kind of get towards the end of the conversation, but that was as the presentation went on, and then as I started reading more, I'm like, wait a minute, what? So we'll kind of get more into that.
Yeah.
They talked about motion and voice minigame upgrade for Super Mario Party Jamboree. So they're updating that game with a lot of the new features for the devices. They're adding in a lot of features that take advantage of the new mouse mode, which is kind of cool. The mouse mode thing, though. What are we gonna be scratching up my table and my Joy-Con? Like what? What's happening with that? If I'm doing this, something's getting fucked up.
Dude, there's got to be a thing where like you can hold it like just like a little bit lightly above it so that you can do that.
Yeah.
You know, like, or use it as a mouse. But man, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, because again, it's a cool feature. They showed them doing the mouse mode during the Metroid Prime Beyond presentation, which I was like, cool. It's gonna feel almost like keyboard mouse light, a little more accurate. But I'm also thinking like my poor tables, like my kids are gonna be like,
Right.
you know. So, but here's the fix. All right, bear with me.
Okay.
Stay with me. Imagine this. Imagine a world. Zach, I don't want to destroy my table. And you're the Nintendo executive.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick-san. Okay, maybe that's racist. I'm not going to do that. Okay, scratch that for the record. No, you say, Nick, here's what you do. You buy the Switch 2 giant mouse pad for $49.99. You put it on your table, and all your friends can wiggle their little Joy-Con all over the table. All over your $49 Nintendo official Switch 2 giant mouse pad. Boom. Because Nintendo needs more money. We'll talk about that.
And then I would just be like, well, as your Nintendo rep, what I suggest you do is just go to Walmart and go grab a $10.
Go buy 5
Corsair.
mouse pads and just put them all together.
Yes, exactly.
So updates.
That'd be cool as hell.
Updates to Jamboree. It takes advantage of the camera as well, so you can see your face next to your character, which is kind of a cool thing. Unless you're ugly and you don't want to see your face. We have enhanced Zelda games, so we are enhancing the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I hate to keep putting negative things into this, but I watched a video about some of the changes. I think this was Tears of the Kingdom. They were doing like a fast travel test, and apparently it was like 30-second load screens you'd have to experience before on the Switch 1 between places. They timed it at 30 seconds.
I could see that.
Guess how fast the Switch 2 reduces your load screen time?
I'm gonna say 26.
I think it's like 19 seconds. So again, it's okay, faster. That's great.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why do you have that long of a loading screen to begin with?
Because they don't have an SSD in that thing. That's why.
100%. They got like an everything's on memory. Well, okay, they have that stuff in there, but it's just not as up to date. However, they're upgrading the graphics with HDR support. They're doing a Nintendo app integration that allows you to kind of track your hidden unlocked seeds and secrets and things of that nature. So they're doing some cool app enabled things to kind of like partner up with the game to give you a little more immersion when you're outside of the game. They're boasting better graphics, better load times, better performance. The game looked like it performed better when they showed off Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Because when I would watch people play that game, sometimes the frame rate would just go real crazy and it would almost like crash the whole Switch. This was running pretty beautifully. So I think it's cool. I remember there was a little controversy with the pricing of some of these. I think they're still going to charge like $70 for these games on the Switch too. Do you know about that?
I think
because they had talked.
know.
Here's the thing: they had talked about pricing of like $20 and $30 for certain games for the enhanced versions. I believe.
I think so. I think you're right on that.
However, I'll have to look. I don't want to misspeak here on the show without all the knowledge, but I thought that these games were still going to be really. There's some games were going to be more expensive than that to get the Switch 2 editions.
Well, I think the Switch 2 editions are going to be more expensive. I think they're going to be probably around anywhere from $70 to $80. Just because people are going to rebuy them anyway.
Yeah, and we keep kind of going back to the pricing thing. They're talking $80 for digital games, $90 for physical. And the physical game doesn't even have anything in it, right? I think it's just a code. Or is it actually going to have a game card?
They're game codes, I think.
Yeah, so it's like you're not even getting the little game that much anymore. Like you're still paying just to get the game to be able to play on your Switch. That's whack. Anyway, we got Drag X Drive. A lot of games. This is kind of like a murder ball style game where it looks like folks in wheelchairs are playing basketball. Okay, are you thinking about Jimmy from Degrassi? Are you thinking about Jimmy?
Where's wheelchair Jimmy at?
Oh, okay. Listen,
dude,
we're not like. Please forgive us. Okay, like we're laughing a little bit. We're not laughing about that. However, we are in the show Degrassi. Drake used to play a character named Jimmy, and he was in a wheelchair.
Yeah, he was.
And but you say it like that.
Sorry. Okay, listen. In different context, basically, he got shot. All right.
Okay. The story's getting worse as we tell it.
Sorry.
But anyway. The storyline was really dark and really sad, and I think because of that, because Zach and I at that age didn't know how to handle drama and emotions, as young men. We just made fun of it. So,
Yeah,
so when I see this, I just think about Drake zooming around the halls of the high school. But no, this looks cool. It's a basketball style game where you're in wheelchair basketball matches. There's unique moves to outpace and kind of juke your opponents. It's using a lot of the new motion controls. So I think that could be really fun.
I heard that I was reading and watching some YouTubers who got went to the press conference and went to not press conference but went to these direct what are they, events or whatever, and they said that Drag X Drive, it was really awkward and kind of weird.
Okay.
Because it's
you probably have to wheel, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to actually turn and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's where they were kind of this is kind of weird.
Hey.
But I mean, you got to show off the technology.
You got to show off the technology.
So
there's speaking of technology, a lot of third party games that they showed, which I was really kind of surprised about, to be honest. We have. You know what I'm kind of worried might be happening?
What's up?
I keep getting a notification that someone's AirPods are connecting to my iPad. I hope it's not messing with the audio. But anyway, those are just the things that happen in these shows sometimes. So, c'est la vie. We have Elden Ring, which was shown off, which I was very surprised about. Split Fiction, Hogwarts Legacy, Hades 2, Street Fighter 6, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, Hitman World of Assassination, and Cyberpunk 2077 were revealed as Switch 2 ports. Number of games, they talked about Civilization 7 using some of the Joy-Con's new mouse functionality. Mm-hmm. So a lot of really surprising games that historically wouldn't be able to run on Switch hardware. They're showcasing some of the new power that this console packs into it. So we got Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I'm not going to lie. I played the first game, and I literally fell asleep playing it.
Did you really?
Yeah. I think I was really tired, and I got lost on where to go, so there was nothing going on, and I was just like, all right, I'm turning this off. So it wasn't bad. I just don't think I gave it a chance. But I love that Dynasty Warriors type gameplay. So I think this will be interesting. Also, I like the story they're telling, kind of digging into some of the prequel stuff that kind of led up to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I think it's cool seeing that lore, not just reading about it, which is kind of neat. So I'm excited. And I hope I don't fall asleep when I play it. This really excited us. Nintendo Classics GameCube.
We done did it.
I love it. So dreams can come true, ladies and gentlemen. Nintendo confirmed GameCube games will officially hit the platform when the Switch 2 launches in June. Why this is important? I'm pretty sure just last week, either on the show or off the show, I said, man, I wish I could play Zelda the Wind Waker again. A nice remaster. And you were like, yeah, that'd be cool, man. Here it is. The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero GX, which was really cool, and its multiplayer mode are going to be available for the Nintendo Switch 2 via the Nintendo GameCube Classic online.
You know what I really enjoyed about seeing just this happen?
What?
Is, number one, that Zelda The Wind Waker, it's going to be the original version.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the HD version. You're going to get it in that crisp, nice-looking cell shading that, in a way, made the game stand out very well.
Love it.
And I'm just really excited about that. Not only that, well, two things. Soul Calibur 2. Weirdest thing weird, because I did not expect them to be okay, day one, Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah. That's the one that had Link in it too, right?
Exactly.
Heck yeah.
Our buddy Drew.
Yeah.
And we were a long time ago when that first came out, dude. We played that like crazy.
Heck yeah.
So
Soul Calibur 2. Ooh, that seems like so long ago. That's so long ago. Holy crap.
Pretty sure that was 2002 or 2001 or something.
Nice.
So very cool. Very excited about that.
I love that.
And also, they're bringing back the classic controller for it.
Oh yeah, they said they were going to release the peripherals.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
So
Also, that's three things. You said one at the beginning of all this.
Did I say? Okay. Well, I went one, and then two, and then three. And technically, I said two at first. But yeah. So
No, that is cool. That is cool because we have a bunch of third-party GameCube controllers that are like all worn to shit because we play them so much. So
True.
That'll be cool. Do you think they're going to put a Melee on there?
no,
Okay.
I don't think so. Unfortunately, because if they didn't bring Super Smash Bros. 1 to the,
Oh, I didn't think about that. Okay. Yeah.
And also, just to say,
They probably
like,
don't want to split their fan. They probably don't want to split the player base. That's
Exactly.
probably what's gonna happen. Sorry,
and
what were you gonna say?
they also changed it from Nintendo Switch Online to Nintendo Classics, which I think it rings a lot better.
Yeah, it's good to have that branding because then it's confusing. Like, what do I get with Nintendo Switch Online? Well, you get this and that and this, and you get the classic games, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
They're also bringing Pokemon games too, like Pokemon Coliseum
Oh yeah.
and the other one,
The other one.
the Gale of Darkness or whatever. It's
Yeah, I remember that one. That one was weird.
called. Yeah, I
like
didn't
that
play
one.
that one.
So see, they were already doing that stupid third person stuff that kind of looked crappy. Like, I feel like this new ZA game looks almost just like those.
Well,
I can't stop talking shit about Pokemon ZA, but I really want to because I really want to like it.
yeah. Well, you'll probably like it with the Switch 2 version, but we'll get into that later. I know.
Maybe.
I know.
Maybe.
But the next piece of news
Yes.
is
Go ahead. I'm
dope.
going to let you talk about it.
So everybody wants Bloodborne. Everyone wants Bloodborne remaster. Everybody wants a Bloodborne 2.
Yep.
We're not gonna get that.
Never
Just
gonna
get,
happen.
get it out of your heads, guys. Listen.
I think it'll happen.
Eventually.
I bet you they're going to shadow drop it like the Oblivion remake.
Or they'll do it for PS6. I think they'll do like one for PS6, like they did for Demon Souls.
They did do that, didn't they, as a launch title?
Yeah.
A remastered launch title?
So I mean, I'm gonna say, you know what? You got like probably like a 1% chance of it happening.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
I love that, though. You heard it here first on Game On and Beyond. Sorry.
But this is gonna be the closest that we're gonna get to it for now.
Love it.
This is from Software's The Dusk Bloods, a PvP VE, like Elden Ring, Soulsborne type of game essentially. You don't create. I don't think you create your character in this one. I think you pick characters from the preset stuff with like different kind of abilities and such like that.
This is a multiplayer game?
It is. Oh. Yeah. It's a PvP VE.
Okay, you did say that. I'm so sorry.
So I think there's because I was doing like, you know how they have that Treehouse direct thing where they
Yeah.
kind of show off and talk about like the games that are coming out. They said something about how it's going to be like 8-player multiplayer,
Oh.
and I don't know if it's teams based or not.
Okay. But there's AI enemies in the group in the
Correct.
area too that you gotta kind of overcome.
So it'll be like bosses and stuff like that.
yeah,
as
so
well.
kind of like how Fortnite is and like Tarkov now and stuff like that. Okay.
I don't think it's going to be like what's it called? What is it? Night Rain? Is that what it is?
Yes. Yeah. Elden Ring Night Rain is definitely more of like a fire team type drop-in game. It's multiplayer, but it's PvE.
So I'm not exactly sure on how this is going to be. More information needs to come out first. We got a 2026 reveal date. Looks great.
Okay.
Like I said, it's going to be the closest.
That's a
thing
big
that we have.
deal, right? An exclusive From Software title on the Switch.
Yeah.
Who the frick would ever call that? That's crazy. I never even thought we'd ever be able to see Elden Ring being able to be played on this console, and we're gonna get that and an original game. So
exciting.
the From Software did come out recently and talk about how the Dusk Bloods is definitely like a new project for them, especially being all multiplayer. But they're not straying from their roots, and they said their future games will they're not going away from single player, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So that's good. It's good for these kind of developers to step out because again, when they try different things and it works, it kind of reinvigorates the genre and it gets other people to kind of step up their game as well. So
Exactly.
I'm mad excited. Other games that maybe I'm a little excited for, maybe not too excited. We got Kirby Air Riders. We had Kirby Air Ride on GameCube, which is cool. So this is a Switch 2 sequel to that. We have Donkey Kong Bonanza. Bonanza. Okay, sorry. I can read, but I thought maybe they were doing a funny play on words. Bonanza. But anyway, they're not. It's Bonanza. You're right.
Yeah, fair.
So redesigned Donkey Kong. So he's got kind of a new look. He's got a little more of a retro look, almost like the original one from the game. Looks like we got DK smashing through the underground world dubbed Ingot Isle. And it looks pretty cool. So it's going to drop a month after the Switch 2 launches on July 17th.
Yep.
I believe that was most of the announcements, if not all of them.
Yeah,
Let's bitch about price for a little bit, for just a few moments.
Yeah, let's
okay,
do that.
one, a lot of people are kind of freaking out about $80 games, $90 games. We talked about 80 for digital, 90 for physical. You're paying $20 to $30 to get Switch 2 edition games of games you had on the Switch 1. Games like Zelda, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that they're going to be more expensive, like in that $60 to $70 range to get the editions, which would make sense because they still charge like $60 to $70 for these games now.
Yeah, especially
Nintendo
brand new.
never puts their games on freaking sale barely, or they put their crappy games on sale.
Yeah.
The console's a little pricey. It might get pricier because of the U.S. tariffs. The Joy-Con are like $80, like $90.
For a double set of Joy-Cons, that was normally $80.
Okay. So I mean, so here's the deal, right? If you want this console and you want to get a couple games, a couple accessories, I mean, you're walking out the door paying like $600-700 for this thing, which is almost what I paid, which is pretty much what I paid for my PS5 Pro. It's kind of nuts. So there's a lot of people. There's obviously the subsect of Nintendo fans that are like, who cares? I'll eat whatever poopy you poop out onto my face. And then there's the normal people who are gamers and who are like, well, if they do this and people are cool with it, then other game companies are going to be like, all right, cool, fine. Like people have been saying that GTA 6 is going to be $100.
Yeah.
Right?
I could see that.
So there's a future where we're going to be paying $90 to $100 for games. That's a future I don't want to live in.
Yeah, man. I think
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, especially for video games. I mean, now granted, I was looking at some like way back in the day when the Nintendo 64 came out, and even like when the SNES was out.
These games were pretty pricey then.
They were still like around, like GoldenEye was like $60. Super Mario 64 was around $60. All of these like big titles were still around $60.
Yeah.
And then like some of like I would say maybe AA or maybe like one that comes to mind is like a Nicktoons game or something was like around like $40 or something.
Yeah, and these games do provide a lot of value.
Yeah.
So in my devil's advocate brain, I can see where the price may want to go up to get more value because you're getting so much out of them, probably beyond the $60-70 price tag even now that we're paying. But that's still a lot of money. I mean, your audience are probably young people for the majority. Are their parents going to be able to pay for this stuff? Are they going to be able to pay for it? It's definitely an interesting prospect to be in this place where, you're paying. Does the camera come with the thing? I think you got to buy the camera separately.
That's separately for $50.
So you're if you want the camera, you're already at $500 without a game.
Yeah.
So we see this stuff a lot. A lot of people are not a fan of like Nintendo's kind of like greedy policies when it comes to this kind of stuff. I love Nintendo. Like I love their characters. I love the worlds that they create. But when I see stuff like this, it kind of sours the announcements, right?
Yeah.
Like a little bit. Like when you dig into how much you're paying, they're charging $10 for an instruction manual pretty much for the like how much goodwill could they have bought if that would have just been a free download, Like
Yeah, it would have been perfect.
Yeah. So I don't want to end all this on a dour note, but this is going to be like a what game am I going to buy with my Switch kind of deal. Not, I'm going to get this game. It's like, okay, I'm going to not eat for 3 weeks and buy my Switch, and then I'm going to not eat for 2 weeks and buy 2 games. Not that that's actually happening. But so that's definitely an interesting my phone's dying. That's what's happening. Let me plug this in.
The one thing I was kind of thinking about was for the prices is this. So like Nintendo is pretty good with their DLCs. I mean, they pretty much give like free updates a lot of the time to their games, right? Yeah. So here's my thing. I want to use Mario Kart World as an example, because that's gonna be the game everybody wants, right? My thing is this: I don't mind paying $80 to $90 for the game.
Okay.
But the game needs to have free DLC. The game needs to be updated constantly.
Okay.
And you have to give me at least 90 hours worth of
content,
game time.
Yeah.
And to me, I have a good feeling that Nintendo will deliver on that. But then again, I think they just see how the market is going.
And I think they know that people will just buy it.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Like the thing that could turn this all around is if this thing doesn't sell well.
Yes.
If they don't sell games, if they sell a lot but not as much as they thought they could sell. When you start punching them in their wallet nutsack, I don't know why I'm saying nutsack. If you punch them in the wallet, they're going to be hurt. Mm-hmm. That's where they really hurt. So they did talk about Mario Kart World, and they did talk about how they believe it's worth the price tag because of the amount of content and the amount of stuff there is to do and explore in the world. That remains to be seen. So we need to be fair and I guess wait to see. But you know, in this day and age when things are expensive and you know, you got to pay a bunch for online service. I mean, the online service, that game chat feature, the new C button that's on the controller, that's there just for the game chat feature.
Yeah.
That's only free for the first year, I think.
Until like March 31st of next year.
Yeah. So cool. You get to try it for a while and then you're paying for the online service. And then I think you have to pay to have that service also.
Oh, that I'm not exactly
I think
sure.
there's an online service and then like an expansion pass you buy or something like that.
So yes, that there is an expansion pass. The year like the regular tier, the year one is going to be $20. But I think they're going to honestly, like when the Switch 2 releases, I think next year they're going to bump it up in price. They're probably going to put it at least like $60 for the expansion pass thing. That's just my prediction.
Yeah. The one kind of interesting thing is you know, we talked a little bit about the tariffs thing. We'll kind of keep that light. However, I believe Japan released, or Nintendo is going to release a Japanese only version of the Switch.
Yeah.
Like a Japanese language only version of the Switch. That's going to be significantly cheaper.
Yep.
Than even the base model Switch 2 console. So
the
pricing on this thing. What did you say? Sorry.
Well, for the pricing for the Japanese language only version is going to be $334, where the multi-language system is going to be $467.
Dang. Okay.
Which is nuts to me, man.
That's a huge price drop.
My thing is that I think what they're trying to do is with that is they're making it so that people won't buy like overseas games, maybe.
Interesting.
Because I'm not sure if the Japanese version is going to only be able to do like Japanese games.
Okay.
Like, or rather than like.
So there might be a little bit of a drawback to getting the cheaper price.
Right.
Okay.
But because I think the Switch 1 wasn't region locked.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, you know, we'll see. You know, more information is going to be coming out more and more of these games. They did. Well, one last thing I'll say about it. They did show off Metroid Prime Beyond on the Switch too.
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
it looks so good.
It actually looked really good. They showcased the performance mode versus the graphical mode, where you get like the 60 frame but 4K, or you can downgrade it and get like 120 frames.
Yep.
They showed the mouse functionality. Oh man, that game is. I would love to play it on Switch 2. I don't know if I'm going to get a Switch 2 to play it yet, but I will probably get it for the Switch 1. So I'm mad excited for that game.
Yeah, it looks great.
One last mention that we'll probably talk about next week more because it's happening this weekend is Bungie. We're getting completely off the Nintendo topic.
Yeah, no more Nintendo.
No more Nintendo.
No more beating them up.
No more beating them up.
Just one last thing on the
Go
Nintendo
ahead,
Switch.
sorry.
Just to say, like, I'm excited for the Switch 2.
I am too. After all, I know we were kind of negative on it at the end there, but I am excited for it. I just wish I could afford it.
Yeah, dude, that's my thing. Like, I wish I could, and I just wish it wasn't like $500. Like,
Yeah.
I wish it was at least $400.
Yeah.
That would have been perfect for me. Then I would have been like, okay, as soon as I get
Yeah, the
as soon
Switch
as I see one, I'm gonna buy one.
Switch 1 launched at $299, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
only $300.
But granted, I mean that thing was like a potato.
Yeah.
With Joy-Cons attached to it. So
It was a PS3. It was like a PS3, Xbox
Yeah.
360.
This
But
is like
now
a-
this is a PS4 and Xbox One. So, you know.
the S version, S version.
Exactly. We'll call it the Pro version. Okay?
Love
Like,
it. But I will say the what about that the changes, it does seem significantly more powerful than the Switch 1.
Most
it's not a
definitely.
PS5, it's not even an Xbox. However, it looks like it can actually run some serious games now. So that's what I think is cool.
And it went from 32 gigabytes to 256 gigabytes.
Dude.
Let's go.
What a blast.
What? Yeah, man.
I mean my PS5 Pro has 2 terabytes, but it was also like $700.
That's 2 terabytes in it?
Yeah, the Pro does. Base. Yeah, 2 terabyte. That's a good
That's
thing.
even better.
So here's the thing. Yeah. So cool. We're excited about it. We know there's some poopy stuff around the price. But we'll see kind of what happens because right now I can't even pre-order the thing. So
Yeah, sure.
So good luck finding one. Good luck paying for one. Don't rob your family of food, to pay for the Switch. Don't go broke buying it.
Don't do it.
And if you're not happy about it, don't buy it because guess what? That's how you can make your voice heard the most. I'm usually not that kind of person that's like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. But if you really don't like something and if you watch it, you're giving them views. You're giving them money.
Yeah.
Where you can hurt them is the wallet. So just don't buy it. Because if they see people not buying their stuff, they're going to think twice next time. Mm-hmm. Now, last piece of news, just a quick honorable mention. Bungie has finally broken their silence on Marathon. And this Saturday, April 12th, we're getting a worldwide gameplay reveal.
Thank God.
I don't know. I'm a huge Destiny fan. I am okay with extraction shooters, so this isn't like I don't know if I'll like the game, but it's definitely something I've been interested in just learning more about because it's Bungie's new old IP, and they've been working on Destiny for like 20 years. So it's going to be interesting to see what they bring to the table in this arena of extraction shooters. There's been this augmented reality game going on their an ARG, they call it, on their website, where they're kind of releasing bits of the lore, and they're releasing little videos and pictures and things of that nature.
Oh, cool.
So they've been slowly teasing more and more, and then they came out with a teaser to announce their gameplay reveal this weekend. So we're going to see some gameplay from Marathon, the newest extraction shooter from Bungie. Let's hope it's good. I want them to make more money so they can stop making Marathon and just make more Destiny. So that probably will never happen. But the more money they have, the more I'm hoping Destiny can get better too. So
yeah, no, man, it looks cool. Like that teaser, especially.
has a little cat, a little cute kitty.
That was adorable.
Yeah.
The color palette of that game, like the style and the color palette,
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Even the blood, it's like this blue stuff that just leaks out everywhere. Like it's super interesting, and they've done a really good job like making you want to see more of it, even if you're not like that type of game player. Like I feel like I have to see what this game's about because it's been so long. They went through recently in the last couple of years, I think they had replaced their game director for that, like a whole new game director, and they were going in a whole new direction now with this game. So
Yeah, I heard that it wasn't supposed to be so much as an extraction shooter.
it's billed as they did say on their website that it is an extraction game.
Okay.
That it's not a hero shooter. The rumor was that they were changing it into more of that hero shooter like Apex. They said it's going to focus on customization. Like you're going to have like classes that you can customize, but it's not like a hero with a set piece of set abilities.
Gotcha.
Or something like that.
Okay.
So
That
they
was
have given a few things like that, but I think they build it more than anything as an extraction shooter and not a hero shooter.
That's good because I was afraid that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, a lot of people were thinking they were going to switch to that because the game just wasn't really going in the direction that was going to make them some money. So I'm glad to see they can stick with some of their original vision on that.
Yep, same.
So I'm excited. I'll be watching that. I'm off Saturday, so I'll be watching that live gameplay reveal. I'll text you about it, and we'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the news that I got. You got anything else you want to sneak in there?
Not really. We do have some game.
Oh, yeah, we got
have
games.
some game stuff that came out.
Do it up. Hit them with it.
So, Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is coming to the PC on April 3rd. That's also bringing some stuff to the PS5 version as well. They made like a standalone, like kind of, man, I forgot what, like a roguelike type of.
Okay. Yeah. Stay Alive or
I
what was
can't
it
remember.
called?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I know
Last Stand. No, not Last Stand. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But it is real fun.
Okay.
I bought it I played it and I bought it when I got the remaster.
Okay.
And for PS5, and it was really fun.
Okay.
So they added some more stuff to that, some more playable characters. I think a little bit more enemies.
Jack Dabby.
Yeah, man, she's got like biceps big as her head.
Dude. Nuts.
We got South of Midnight coming on April 8th for Xbox and PC.
What's that?
Not sure.
Okay.
All I know is that it's got some mystical stuff going on, and the protagonist is a female. That's all I got.
Hold on. Let's read the official. Oh gosh, dang it! This happens every time. Stupid son of a. All right. Let's quickly read the summary. Okay. The internet's not. I can't load anything.
Oh no, dude.
Wait, what's happening? Okay, here we go. South of Midnight is a 2025 action-adventure game developed by Compulsion Games and published by Xbox. The game is set in a fictionalized American Deep South. That doesn't tell me much. It's a platformer action-adventure game. So, fun.
Nice. Okay, well, we got that.
Yep.
Commandos Origins coming April 9th.
Awesome.
For PS5, Xbox, and PC.
Love it. Got Commandos.
Commandos.
Was this a tactical shooter? Do you know about this one?
No, I think it's
Commandos 5.
Actually, I think Commandos is RTS, so it's kind of
Ooh,
like.
okay, that makes sense.
So it's based off of. I think it's like a prequel series to the Commandos.
Okay. Yep. Real-time tactics brings you back to the very first missions of this infamous World War II special unit.
Damn straight, man. You know, You could be in World War II and be Commando.
Dude, speaking of World War II, this is way off topic.
What's up?
They announced a Predator animation. You know, the Predator, the knives.
Yeah.
They're doing it's called Predator Killer of Killers, and it's going to be an anthology series where in one story the Predator comes and fights like Vikings, and then another story the Predator comes and fights these samurai, and then in another story they come and fight like World War II fighter pilots.
What?
It sounds so freaking cool, dude.
Dude, that does sound awesome.
And I think it's coming. I think it's the same guy that directed the last Predator movie, which did really well. So it's a lot of people, a lot of the fans of Predator have wanted like that type of story where like you see the Predator fighting like the most powerful warriors of history, and so it's gonna be freaking lit.
Dude, that's sick.
Anyway, sorry.
No, that is
back to
cool
what you're
stuff.
talking about. The Commandos thing reminded me of that.
And the game of the year that is coming out is going to be Monster Energy Supercross 25.
Nice. I bet you that's on like Jake and Logan Paul's like top 5 list.
Dude, I feel like it.
No, actually no, because they drink Prime. They don't drink Monster Energy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
don't get it twisted.
They probably have driven like a dirt bike once in a while. You know,
Who hasn't? No, I'm just kidding.
I never have.
So is it just a racing game, motorcycle racing?
It's
Travis
Monster
Pastrana?
Energy, Monster Energy,
he's Red Bull.
Supercross people crossing
Nice.
super crossings. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Me and Kyle can crush a monster and go race motocross.
Yes, dude. Yes, dude.
I love it.
I love it, man. But yeah, that's basically it for the
Okay.
for the games and everything. And I guess the last piece of news is that for on my end is not video game related. It's actually anime related.
Love it.
I found out that I recently watched the first season of Dandadan.
Okay.
Really cool.
I had a hard time getting through the first episode, but maybe you saying that will have me try to catch up with it. I thought it was he got like sexually assaulted by like a grandma demon.
Yeah, Turbo Granny.
That happened, and he was like, "Let me see your weenie," and I was like, "All right, I'm done with this."
Yes. So it gets the thing about anime to me is that I can't take it very seriously, and this show made that super clear to me for 2 reasons. Number one, high school settings in anime is just
Kind of creepy.
weird.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Especially when they hypersexualize like children.
Then in like 2 or 3 episodes of the first season of this anime, like the first episode, like the main girl's like clothes is like ripped off because she's about to get probed by like aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like there's another female character that comes in like later, and like they have to like do something where they have to take off their clothes and stuff.
I remember seeing this like images or videos of this, and I was like, "What's happening in this show?"
And dude, the fact that these are high school students doing that kind of stuff is the biggest turnoff of my life.
Yeah.
And it's just weird to me, and
Yeah.
it makes me realize that no wonder why I have a hard time getting even to like games like Persona, where they're high school based.
Because it's like young looking. It's like that. What do they call it? Lolly. That lolly kind of
Yeah.
stuff. The lolicon stuff.
It's not, yeah, but that's more for like super like young characters in it.
Okay.
So like child looking characters that are getting sexualized and stuff like that.
Ew.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But then I started, I'm 3 episodes into Solo Leveling, and dude,
Solo Leveling is lit.
great anime
Dude.
so far.
I'm so happy. You just made my day, bro. Solo Leveling. I'm like on the hype train for Solo Leveling. I just finished season 2. Obviously, I was watching it week to week. It's
Yeah.
so good.
I've only heard great.
So good. It's
Yeah.
so good.
And that's the thing is like, and that's why I love Cowboy Bebop so much, is because it has that maturity.
Yes.
Whereas Solo Leveling has that too, where it's not.
So there's one episode of Solo Leveling where there's this like underage hunter that he meets, and they're talking about how they like stayed up late the night before, but that's because they went and did like hunting, and so one of his friends is like, "Oh my gosh, she's underage, right?" And he's like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." And he's like, "Oh no," but it's like a joke, and it never even went that route, So
Right, and that's great.
Yeah.
That's once again like maturity wise as far
that's like the
as,
closest that show has ever come to any of that weird anime shit. So
But yeah, so I get it, man. Like I understand that, these are great animes. They look great and everything like that. Like Dandadan ain't like a bad anime. It's
Yeah.
just It's just those kind of certain parts turn me off.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a prude when I talk like this, but at the same time, I do find myself steering more away from those anime where like the kids are weird. It's weird like that.
Yeah.
Another one I want to put on your radar.
What's that?
The first season of Rising of the Shield Hero.
I've heard good things. Actually, you've talked to me
The
a lot
first
about it.
season only though, because after that, the accompanying seasons just don't even hit like halfway how hype the first season gets. It's a lot of episodes, but it's such a good story, and it has that same like heroes from another world, and that world has like video game rules, so they have to like kill creatures, level up, have companions, that sort of thing.
Cool.
There is kind of a weird side plot about slavery, so like he has like slaves.
Oh, that's weird.
Because like everyone hates him, so the only people that'll like party with him, he has to like buy his party pretty much.
Oh.
So there's kind of a little of that weird anime stuff in that, but the overall story I think overshadows that, and it goes more towards that. So
Cool.
first season only though.
Gotcha.
Solo leveling that. I've actually been watching Gundam Seed. I think I told you this.
Oh,
I started
okay.
Gundam Seed. Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that. My Hero Academia Vigilantes came out, which is like a prequel series to My Hero, but it's about these like street level characters, not like the super strong heroes.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
Okay.
And there's a new one that just came out called To Be Your Hero X.
I've heard of that.
Only one episode is out. I would peek it if you have time.
Okay.
If you have something to kill, because it's an interesting take on that superhero anime. I think it's something to the effect of, if I remember correctly, the heroes get their powers from like how much the people like believe in them or something like that. So the more fans and like belief they have in them, the stronger the hero can become.
Oh.
So it's like an interesting kind of take on superhero anime.
So if your social points, like your social networking points, is up,
It almost kind of feels like that way, right? If you're
Yeah.
like socially liked more, you're like cooler or something. Like you're better. I don't know. So
Sure.
there's a lot of actually cool anime. They're going into a whole new season of new anime. So I'm glad you're watching Solo Leveling. We'll talk more about that as we go.
yeah, absolutely.
Sorry about the side tangent. We're huge nerds.
I'm not sorry.
And this is Game On and Beyond. So sometimes we go beyond video games.
Well, that's what the show is. It's supposed to go above gaming, in a way,
no,
in a
that's
certain
true.
way.
That's true. Our whole mission statement here is to talk about the games we love and the things we love. And sometimes that again goes beyond
Exactly.
gaming. So
Exactly.
that's all I got. Everything on your end?
I'm good to go, brother.
Cool. That's the show for today. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us ramble there at the end. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, like, subscribe, hop in and leave a comment. Tell us how we did. We're looking forward to hear from you. We will see you next week on I can't talk today.
It's okay.
We'll see you next week on Game On and Beyond.
Take care, guys.